love to eat. If you don't like cleanup, then you need to stick around. The famous, I've never gotten to air it before. It's like an urban legend, the fluted pan. I've never gotten to talk about it. It's coming up. But in the meantime, this is 24 hours to help get you ready for spring cooking and entertaining. For Flex, we've also got free shipping on all of our food. Not the least of which is this dynamic duo. This is another one that I am on auto ship for. I love it. Not only because this is like the king's meal. This is what we all want. Now, once more, you can choose it in the 8 count or the 16 count. Now, if you do that 8 count, obviously you're looking at 4 and 4 respectively. So 4 of your beautiful Australian, those beautifully trimmed fillets, and then 4 of those lobster tails, and then just double it if you do the 16 count. Now remember, you can do single ship, or you can do auto ship. Now, one quick thing about that auto ship, the chef knows I love to promote, $40 off if you do that HSN card, but because I'm on so many of your auto ship, chef, you can actually go in and you can change the rotation of something. So if you say like, well, my freezer's full, or I need something, so you can actually manage that auto ship, but boy, you hit it, you nailed it when you did this configuration. It's one of my favorites that I get in my house.
I mean, Shannon, look at this. It's the best of the best. It's the most luxurious of the beef. It's the most luxurious of the ocean. You have lobster, you have fillet. I mean, there's nothing else to say but happiness, right? Easter's coming up, Mother's Day's coming up, Father's Day's around the corner. You can spoil that special someone in your life. Let me show you the fillet first. And you know what? I'm going to do one of each. I can't just put one down. I've got the fillet, and then I have a lobster tail. Now, here's the most beautiful part. They're both rich. They're both ridiculously luxurious. They're some of the most incredible ingredients in the world. Look at my beef here. I mean, look how juicy and perfect that piece of fillet is. I mean, you can just see, you can imagine how that's going to taste. I'll pick it up and show it to you. Look at this. You can pull it apart. That's how tender it is, Shannon, right? So you've got the Australian grass-fed beef. I just can't help myself but put it in my mouth. I'm so sorry. Oh, my word, that's good. Mm. And then the lobster. This is that beautiful lobster tail from the East Coast. I mean, we hear about Maine lobster. We know it's the best in the world. And here's the most beautiful thing about it. Look at that pristine white flesh. You know it's got that sweetness and that incredible. It is the jewel of the ocean. There's a reason that lobster's spoken about in... Oh, Shannon, it's so hard to do this and not embarrass myself. Yum.
It is
and then
dynamite.
You go back in together, the steak and the lobster.
They do. Hey, I will let you know, Steve, I'm guessing, but the auto ship is probably the most limited on this one in terms of availability. I'm guessing, okay, the larger count is the one that's more limited. At this point though, once more, all of our food has free shipping. Everything has a 30-day return policy. And I just always recommend whenever we do auto ship, especially on food, listen, I know we are all optimistic and sunny yellow and, you know, anticipating great things, especially with the first official start of spring tomorrow. But you just feel, I don't know, every time I open my freezer door, I smile because it's like, I know I always have not only the best food, and it really is an Epicurean delight, but more than that, it's easy. And you always know that you have it at the ready. So don't save that surf and turf dinner for Valentine's Day or your anniversary. Now you can treat yourself. And I think that's one thing that we learned during this time in history, Chef, is A, how challenging it is to get the right products, especially when it comes to higher end quality meat and seafood. And you know what, doggone it, if there was ever a year for us to really treat ourselves, it's now, and even as we move through the rest of the year, isn't it?
You're so absolutely right, Shannon. Look at this lobster. I mean, my knife goes through it like it is just butter. You have to spoil yourself. You have to try this lobster. I cut them in half. I roast it with just a little garlic butter. The flavor of this is insanely good. You can see how it like lifts on out of the shell just like that. And this is half of one of the tails. You're taking home 4 tails and 4 fillets. Let me cut through the fillet for you just to give you an example of how juicy and perfect that fillet is. So if you wanted to serve one of these. Maybe it's enough for 4 portions, right? Because maybe you want to be a little sparing and say, you know what, I'm going to split the tail in half, and you go like this and you go like that, and then you take that beautiful juice. Like maybe that's enough for you. So this is actually 8 portions. Maybe you're like me and you're just greedy, Shannon, and you want it all just for yourself. I mean, I would take one of these. I would take that whole half tail and I'd be like, oh yeah, now I'm very happy, okay? So the flavor of the lobster, the reason Surf and Turf has such an incredible reputation is because if you get the right thing, don't forget, the fillet isn't known for its rich flavor, it's known for its ridiculous tenderness, right? That's why we love filet so much. And the lobster is known for its bold flavor. So they match each other very, very well is what I'm basically saying to you. Again, if I cut this for you, Shannon, and show you just how big this portion actually is, you know, you're getting the best of the best in terms of the tenderness here. And of course, with lobster, I mean, what do I have to say? It comes from Maine. It is the most unbelievable lobster that I think exists. And it is creamy white flesh. It is very, very sweet. It has that delicate flavor of the ocean. And every time you taste it, you just feel very, very privileged, let's say. And you should, but you know what? You deserve it once in a while.
You do indeed. Now remember, if you want that auto ship, actually the larger piece count and the auto ship is the most limited. These are the keys to the kingdom. I mean, not only the best cuts, I mean, the king of cuts, that filet, that lobster, you want to talk about buttery, delicious decadence together for an awesome price delivered right to your door. That's why I always suggest doing the auto ship if you can, because you can manage that delivery. So remember, that means you always have the king of cuts and this dynamite combination at the ready whenever you would like. And you know what? You should treat yourself. Certainly if this last year has taught us nothing, we do deserve it. We just do. Couldn't be easier. It is on 5 flexible payments, by the way. And of course, free shipping on all of our food and still that 30-day return policy. So remember, you can choose it on the 8 count. You could do the math. You could probably figure that out. That means 4 and 4. And then on the 16 count, you just double it. So then we're looking at 8 and 8 respectively. So I hope you try it. This is one of the things that, you know, if I've had a tough week or I'm a little stressed out, this is what I defrost in my freezer. It's one of so many food options that I'm on auto ship from Chef for. Well, one of the things of his that I don't have yet, it's the famous fluted pan. It's like an urban legend.